the subject of wafer locks. Look like this. They're commonly used in desks like this one, or this was for a hasp, and this was a lock that someone tried to open with a screwdriver and the repair guy gave it to me from a bathroom. Most of them are 4-pin, like these two. Ones that aren't particularly high security are 2-pin, which is like this one. They're picked in pretty much the same way, but the techniques or the feel for the lock is slightly different. Because unlike pin and tumbler, which use a pin that rides on the key, like a pin, these actually use little plates. Like if you see in this, right about there, have these pins right here that rest into the outside rim. So if you push it too high, it'll rest in the top of the rim. If you push it too low, it'll rest in the bottom. In both ways obstructing turning the keyway. And there's a little guide that's spring loaded. So like you can see in this one right there, you can see the little wafer in there. It's kind of short. And anyway, the way you'd identify wafer locks is they're flat like this. They're rounded. All pin and tumbler locks will have this ridge right here, which houses the springs and the other pins. All wafer locks will be rounded like this, and you won't see that top ridge. So wafer locks are, when you first start picking them, slightly more difficult than pin and tumbler locks, because they're different. They don't feel the same. They're odd. They're a little sticky. As like you can see, going back to the diagram, how each wafer has a rectangular hole in the center. They're like rectangle wafers that ride in there, and they have a hole in the center that the key goes through and rests on the pin. And then when they're all meet at the inner shear line there, the key can turn. So this one is actually fairly hard. I'd rate this up there somewhere with like these titanium series pin and tumbler master locks, or a cheap door lock such as this one. Slightly easier than the door lock, but still not a number 3 or anything. So today we'll try to pick these. You'll need just like a tumbler lock, a tension wrench, and some picks. Let's see. I'll use a snake rake. So a twisted tension tool and a snake rake. Tension isn't awfully important with these. I suggest a light to medium light tension. You know, you don't need super light, you don't need heavy. Same go in there. These do have a little less of a bias, so they're kind of easy to pick in both directions. Or not as hard to pick in the wrong direction, but you can kind of tell. Go through the lock. See? Open. But you go in the lock. And the pin's set in here, but you kind of have to turn it backwards to feel, to release the pins in. So I got one there. Just kind of. So I didn't get any there. So this one turns clockwise, or yeah, clockwise. Screwed up here because I'm working at a weird angle to the camera. Go in. It's best to use kind of a jiggling motion. Just be careful not to break your picks. And open. Sorry about the ambient noise. Same with this one, only here I'm applying my thumb as tension against the back lever. This one only has 2 pins, or 2 wafers. So it's fairly easy. Plus I can see the wafers. So if you have a friend that does construction, or you're able to get these locks, these are very easy to start Wafer. This one is used on a hasp. This is used for, I think it's a master lock hasp, so you turn this and it locks the hasp. These are both, this one and the desk one, and the desk lock, I should point out, are both 4-pin, 4-wafer. But these are definitely different to pick than pin and tumbler locks. They're, I guess the best way to describe them is different. They feel different. You can't go totally on feel with these. You got to experiment. And when you first try to pick these, it'll take you a little while because you have to figure out what technique works well. I find a wiggling more than a raking motion works best, and either a snake rake, or you can go single pin, and again a jiggling. Just like pin and tumbler, you can't overset the pins. This hasp one is probably the most difficult of all the wafer locks I have. Probably the one meant for the most security. And I should point out the one from a desk came off of a fairly high-end desk, so you think it would be a little bit more difficult. I guess this one's really hard because it's not mounted on anything. I should have this mounted on a board, so it'd be easier to pick. Probably a jiggling motion or a single pin picking motion. Oh no, there we go. Outside for a while, so it's really sticky. A little weather, that's what that was. Kind of hard. So that's it for this episode. Things I want to do on future episodes are possibly really on this tumbler lock without using a tubular pick, which is kind of round robin style picking. Definitely want to attempt a pick case soon. Thinking of maybe leather or canvas. A decent amount of picks, and then I want to possibly, if I can work this a little better, this cutaway lock that I made, show the principles of how tumbler locks work maybe, and then this deadbolt lock, what I want to do, and then, what was I going to say? I definitely want to do electric picks. This for the matter of the electric pick that I made. And these two are very complicated and completely scratch built. So people have been asking me how to make electric picks, and I want to steer away from trying to show how to make these. It's really difficult. It takes a great amount of time. Possibly doing something with electric scissors. This is one model that didn't work out because it was too cheap and broke, but with these type of electric scissors, or modifying some other device to make an electric pick, so it would be easier and not as time consuming. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and tune in for my future videos.